Hey, and thank you so much for joining me in the Take 5 art video for the month of November. This month the prompts were chosen by Julia from Julia McNeil Crafts. Her handle will be on the screen if you want to check her out. I suggest you do it. And the prompts for this month are: number 1, mop-up page, 2, fabric, 3, boho, 4, gold, and 5, stamping. So I'm diving right in with 2 of the prompts. The boho is the entire spread, I believe. At least that's my interpretation of boho. It's very layered and a lot of patterns. And then I'm also using 2 mop-up pages. I don't really remember what the original spread was, but I used these 2 vintage book pages to have on the side so I didn't mess up too much of my desk when I was using a stencil. But before I talk too much about what I'm actually doing here, I would really like to talk to you about the Take 5 art. If you're not a regular at one of our channels, Take 5 art is a challenge that I and 11 other ladies do. And every month one of us comes up with 5 prompts, thus the Take 5, to use for art. And this art can be anything, but most of us use it as art journal inspiration. And we film our process, and we hope you join us in creating something. And we hope we inspire you as well by showing you our process. So if you do create anything with these prompts, please let us know either via Instagram or under one of our videos. And show us. Use the hashtag Take5Art or share a link with us. Kira from Simply Creative Kira creates a playlist on YouTube every single month with everything we did, but also everything you shared with us for that specific month. And we actually really enjoy seeing what you create with it. So yeah, just share it with us. We really enjoy it, and I personally absolutely love seeing what everybody creates and how everybody interprets these prompts completely differently in their own style. Even though I don't feel I really have a style. But some of the ladies, they have their really unique styles, and it's crazy to see how everybody interprets everything. Anyway, you just saw a brief flip through of all of my vintage newspapers and magazines and vintage papers that I own. And I originally picked something else to put on these spreads, but then I found this beautiful lady, vintage lady, and she isn't really boho, she's more vintage. But I thought I could make her boho by using some of my fabric. It's actually more a ribbon, but I don't have a lot of fabric, so this is a fabric ribbon, and I think it counts for the prompt of fabric. And by giving her a big flowy skirt using this boho-like fabric, I thought I would make her more boho than vintage. Although I think vintage and boho go together very well. And then I was originally planning on just gluing her on like this, but I thought it would be more fun to cut out her where the black ends and then make the skirt go from there. And I think it turned out so good. So for the next prompt, stamping, I thought I would use some white ink, but that didn't really show up on the page. So I don't know. I filled in the prompt, but I messed up one of my ink pads because I thought I don't have to clean my stamp. I just use this on top of it and maybe it will mix a little. but they're different inks and I messed up my ink pad, unfortunately. Although I didn't really use this pad anyway because the ink is different and I just don't know how to use it, so I just decided to throw it away. And then I was inspired by the pattern on the fabric that I was using to create my own little leaf doodles. And I used my new crayon. I was kindly gifted a gift card for an art supply store by my best friend. And I decided I wanted to start using crayons. And honestly, these aren't cheap crayons, they're pretty high quality and I love using them. They are so, I don't know, they just glide on the paper and I love the texture that they give, and they're waxy, and I don't know, I never realized how much I would like to use crayons, but I did a workshop once and they had these Stabilo, I don't know, they're water soluble crayons, kind of pencils, big chunky pencils, and I loved playing with those. But those need to be sharpened and you need to have a special sharpener, and I just didn't care for spending €5 on a sharpener just because, yeah. So I decided to try out using different kind of crayons, and I found this brand that I enjoyed and just decided to get a few colors that I actually like, because I once made the mistake of buying very expensive gouache in the primary colors, thinking, oh, I will just mix the colors that I love. And although I know how to mix colors, it is just kind of wasteful having to mix every time. And with crayons that doesn't work, I think. So that's my journey into why I bought crayons. Although I feel like I have to justify buying crayons because they're kind of childish. I don't know. And then I used my Edding jelly roll in gold to fill in a few parts of the lady that I thought would look good in gold, which took a little while because it's a very fine jelly roll. But then later I decided to use my gold colored watercolor because I didn't like this shade of gold. This is a very green yellow gold and I just didn't think it matched the aesthetic that I was going for, the boho aesthetic. And I learned this from a YouTuber called the Plant-Based Bride, Elizabeth Turn, and she uses a jelly roll before using the very shiny gold paint that I also use in order to give it a extra reflective oomph. I don't know how to describe it else. But it works, it makes it even more metallic. Although I didn't think that could be with the gold paint that I use, but it works, trust me. And I used some washi tape to also fade in with the pattern on the fabric. It's not very apparent on camera, but the fabric has these leaves and some brown specks. And then I just added some random little dots with one of the crayons. Here I am mixing two of the paints to create a gold that I found pleasing, because I'm not a yellow, green, yellow, gold kind of person. But I think this is still gold, right? It's more of a copper, but for me it counts. It's all about your own interpretation with the Take 5 art prompts. And I'm so sorry for the change in darkness. It suddenly started raining when I was doing this. And I am dependent on natural light, so it suddenly got dark. But I think you can still see what I'm doing, which is writing down a quote. I stupidly enough forgot what movie it's from. It's from one of those Halloween witchy quotes. And the quote goes, "Being normal is vastly overrated." And I just simply wrote that in capital letters and then added a little oomph by going over it again. And I originally wanted to do this stamping, but I didn't have the font that I wanted in stamps, so I just wrote it down and glued them down. And that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to give it a like. I and the 11 other ladies make a video of the Take 5 art prompts every single month. So don't forget to subscribe and check out the other ladies in the description box. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope I will see you next time. Bye bye!